A word of warning. A word of warning. Do not watch this alone. What you're about to see is not just a story about a house. It's about a place soaked in blood, grief, and spirits that have refused to leave. Monte Cristo Homestead is a name whispered with fear, a place where every brick seems to hold a story of death and lingering terror. This isn't just a haunted house. It's a monument to tragedy, a place where the past has never truly died. Prepare yourself, because we're about to step inside one of the most paranormally active locations on the planet. Built back in the 1800s, in the quiet town of Junee, New South Wales, Australia, Monte Cristo Homestead was meant to be a symbol of prosperity, a stately residence for a wealthy family. Christopher and Elizabeth Crawley envisioned a life of luxury within its grand walls, but fate had other plans. Instead of joy, the house became a magnet for misfortune. Over the decades, tragedy became routine, a dark and recurring theme written into the very foundation of the estate. It began with the staff. A young maid, working in the kitchen, was tragically burned alive in a fire she couldn't escape. Her screams are said to still echo in the silence. Then, the Crawleys' own infant granddaughter, a child barely old enough to walk, fell down the grand staircase under mysterious circumstances. Some say she was pushed by an unseen force. The tragedies didn't stop there. A stable boy was burned to death in his bed. A caretaker, a man named Jack, was shot dead on the porch in an unexplained incident in 1961. His ghost is still seen wandering the grounds. Perhaps one of the most heartbreaking stories is that of a mentally impaired child, rumored to be the son of a housekeeper. He was allegedly kept chained in the dairy for over 30 years. After his mother's death, he was sent to an asylum where he died shortly after. Each death, each moment of agony, left its indelible mark on the house. Some official reports were sealed. Some evidence was never allowed to leave the property, locking the secrets of Monte Cristo within its walls forever. As soon as you step onto the property, you can feel it. A heavy, oppressive atmosphere that clings to you like a shroud. This is where the first whispers begin. Visitors, paranormal investigators, and even the current owners have reported chilling experiences. They speak of disembodied whispers echoing through empty halls, voices that seem to come from nowhere and everywhere at once. Cold spots that appear without warning, freezing the air around you, making your breath mist even on a warm day. Doors slam shut with violent force for no apparent reason, as if an invisible hand is warning you to stay out. And then there's the most famous resident, the woman in white, believed to be the ghost of Elizabeth Crawley. She is a spectral figure seen roaming the house. Her presence often felt on the balcony where she reportedly spent years mourning her husband's death. But she's not alone. The ghosts of children are said to appear in the very places they once suffered. Their faint cries and laughter, a chilling reminder of the young lives cut short. Shadows dart in the corners of your vision, crouching and waiting, only to vanish the moment you turn to face them. Some who have visited believe the house itself is alive, that it remembers the pain it has witnessed and replays it for those who dare to listen. It's one thing to hear a whisper or feel a cold spot, but it's another entirely to see something that shouldn't be there. At Monte Cristo, apparitions are not just the stuff of legend. They are a documented reality. Ghostly figures have been captured on film, in photographs, and described in countless eyewitness accounts. People have seen faceless servants moving silently down hallways, going about their eternal chores, completely unaware of the living. Shadowy figures of children have been photographed standing at the top of the very staircase, where one of them met her tragic end. Full-bodied apparitions have been witnessed, repeating their last living moments over and over again, in a terrifying loop. Nightly visitors and ghost tours participants frequently report the unnerving sensation of footsteps, following them down dark corridors, only to turn around and find absolutely no one there. Lights flicker on and off at will, electronics drain of power instantly, and objects have been seen to shift, slide, or even fly across rooms without any logical cause. The house seems to play with its visitors, a constant, unsettling reminder that you are not welcome, and you are most certainly not alone. The veil between our world and the next is thin at Monte Cristo, and sometimes it tears completely. The sheer volume of death associated with Monte Cristo Homestead is staggering, cementing its reputation as one of Australia's most haunted and deadliest estates. We've talked about the maid, the infant, the stable boy, and the caretaker, but the list goes on. There have been multiple documented suicides on the property. There have been other accidental deaths within the house and on the grounds, some too strange to be simple coincidence. Violent and unexplainable incidents involving caretakers and staff have been reported throughout its history. It's as if a dark energy has latched onto the property, drawing tragedy to it like a magnet. Local guides and the current owners, who have lived in the house for decades, claim that the spirits are not just passive remnants of the past. They believe the entities actively seek attention, sometimes becoming physical. People have reported being touched, pushed, or having their clothes tugged by unseen hands. The ghosts are said to follow people from room to room, their presence a constant, unnerving weight. It's no wonder that many visitors leave shaken, pale, and utterly convinced that the house is not just haunted, but alive and malevolent. Some are so terrified they refuse to ever speak of their experience again. But the hauntings at Monte Cristo go beyond typical ghostly phenomena. There's something else happening here, something far more sinister and disorienting. Guests have described the very architecture of the house seeming to change around them. They report rooms that feel larger than they remember, hallways that appear to stretch and twist into impossible shapes. Doors that were once open are found locked, and doors that should lead to another room sometimes open to a solid brick wall, or worse, to nothing but darkness. This is a phenomenon known as spatial distortion, where a location seems to defy the laws of physics, and it's a hallmark of intensely haunted places. The grand staircase, the site of the granddaughter's fatal fall, is a major focal point for this activity. Some people swear it moves at night, that the number of steps changes, or that its angle shifts. Those who linger too long, especially after dark, report a terrifying experience, being trapped in a time loop. They find themselves walking down the same corridor repeatedly, hearing the same disembodied whispers, seeing the same shadows in the corner, unable to find their way out. It's as if the house itself is a predator, trapping its victims in a cycle of fear, forcing them to relive the nightmares held within its walls. Monte Cristo Homestead is more than just a collection of ghost stories. It is a house that keeps its secrets locked tight, a place where the barrier between the living and the dead has been worn thin by decades of sorrow and violence. The spirits here are not at peace. They are trapped, replaying their final moments, forever bound to the property where they suffered. It's a place you should never enter alone, a place where the shadows watch you, the walls listen, and the air itself is thick with the memory of death. Those who are brave enough to step inside often find that a part of the house follows them home. They don't leave the same person they were when they arrived. And as we conclude this first part of our investigation, remember this: the stories you've heard are just the beginning. The true horror of Monte Cristo is something you can only understand when you're standing in the dark, hearing the footsteps behind you, and realizing you're not alone. Stay tuned as we delve even deeper into the darkness. Thanks for watching. This isn't just a place with a few spooky stories. It's a building that seems to breathe, watch, and remember. For over a century, this Victorian manor has been the site of countless tragedies, and it seems the souls of those who died here never truly left. From the very beginning, death has been woven into the fabric of Monte Cristo. It started with the original owners, the Crawley family. Their story is a long, dark tapestry of sorrow. A young infant granddaughter, just a baby, fell down the main staircase. Her nanny, consumed by guilt and grief, is said to have thrown herself from the balcony. A stable boy burned to death, his screams forever silenced by the flames. And then there's the story of the caretaker, shot dead right on the property. But the most chilling tale is that of a young boy, kept chained in the stables for years, his mind lost to the darkness. Each death was a tragedy, another layer of despair soaked into the walls, another soul trapped within the estate. These aren't just historical events. They are the origins of the hauntings that plague Monte Cristo to this day. The house remembers every single one of them. Nightfall at Monte Cristo is when the true terror begins. The most fearless paranormal investigators who dare to enter after dark report terrifying encounters that defy explanation. Some have witnessed shadowy figures climbing the stairs on their own, moving with an unnatural grace in the pitch black. Others have felt the distinct, cold touch of a hand on their shoulder, only to turn and find no one there. A few have even experienced a bizarre time loop, waking up in the exact same spot they started the night, as if the house forced them to relive the hours over and over. And then there are the ones who, according to local legend, simply never returned. The paranormal activity here isn't subtle. Monte Cristo is notorious for disembodied voices that call out people's names from empty rooms. Lights flicker and turn on by themselves, casting eerie glows down long deserted hallways. Objects don't just fall. They move with purpose, as if guided by an unseen hand. But the most famous phenomenon is the apparition of the woman in white, believed to be the ghost of Mrs. Crawley. She is often seen walking silently through the corridors, sometimes even passing straight through walls. Investigators consistently report hearing, sobbing, crying, and whispers in languages they can't understand. These sounds are most prominent near the grand staircase, the old stables, and the main hallway, the very locations where so much tragedy occurred. The spirits of the children are perhaps the most unsettling presence in the house. The souls of the infant granddaughter and the chained boy are said to linger in the rooms where they suffered their tragic fates. Visitors staying overnight have reported waking to see the small figures of children standing at the foot of their bed, watching them in the dark. The faint sound of children's laughter can be heard echoing through the halls, only to stop abruptly, leaving a chilling silence in its wake. The sound of tiny footsteps echoes in rooms that are completely empty. Some guests swear the spirits have followed them home, leaving them with an unsettling feeling of being watched that never quite fades away. So why is this house so feared? Parts of Monte Cristo are completely off limits to visitors at night. This isn't because the building is unsafe or falling apart. It's because too many witnesses have reported the same disturbing phenomenon. The house itself seems to react to the presence of the living. It feels like it's trapping people, shifting its layout, and even counting those who enter. It's as if the house is a conscious entity, and it remembers every single death that has ever occurred within its walls. It doesn't just hold ghosts. It actively participates in the haunting. Local whispers and rumors add another layer to the mystery. Some say the woman in white isn't Mrs. Crawley, but a maid who was scorned and wronged by the family. They believe the children's spirits were never allowed to find peace and are forced to relive their final moments for eternity. The darkest rumor of all is that the house holds the souls of the damned, and its very structure is a prison that will not let them go. The stories of those who venture there alone are the most frightening. Many have vanished without a trace, while others who managed to leave are said to be forever changed, haunted by what they saw and felt inside. So if you ever find yourself at the gates of the Monte Cristo Homestead, heed this final warning. Do not linger in the hallways. Do not open doors you are not meant to. And above all, do not follow the whispers you might hear in the dark. This house does not forgive. This house does not forget. And the ghosts, they remember everything. Because some houses aren't abandoned. They are hungry. Thanks for watching. And remember to subscribe to our channel, where every story might just give you a new nightmare.